Hey guys, what's up? My name is Art. It's time to do a video. um, One of the things I'm going to do is that I said that I'm going to try to read one graphic novel a week, starting the first of the year. So obviously, I didn't think that through too much because the one book I tried to do was over 300 pages. And to read that in 3 days was not likely possible. So I chose a new one. So I chose a different one. This book I have for probably about a year or two. It's called The Superior Foes of Spider-Man. This is volume 2. Now, one thing about this book, it is pretty funny. This book actually I was laughing my butt off. Today I was in a very negative headspace today. Very negative. I was thinking negative thoughts. Wasn't very, I just didn't. It wasn't a good day for me. This book right here lightened the mood. I feel a little bit better. Still kind of negative, but I feel a little bit better. What happened is this is talking about the superior foes of Spider-Man. Back about 10 years ago or so? Yeah, about like 10 years ago or so, they had an idea of killing off Peter Parker, which was Spider-Man. But they did it slightly different. Basically what happened, Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus switched minds. So Peter Parker died in Spider-Man and Doc Ock's old body, and Doc Ock was in Spider-Man's body. And right before he was able to take over completely, Spider-Man changed his story to where Doc Ock had the Spider-Man origin story. And then what happened was he still was Dr. Octopus, the mind of Dr. Octopus, but the moral compass of Spider-Man. Totally different person. Didn't crack jokes. One thing about Spider-Man, he cracks jokes. And sometimes the jokes are very corny, but they're funny as hell. And if you take them in context. He didn't crack jokes, he was all business, and he was pretty lethal. He broke bones. And so what happened, these villains right here was more synonymous during this time frame. Right here we have Overdrive, which is a new villain. Basically his power is making vehicles go faster. This is the new Beetle. The old Beetle changed his persona to become Mach 1 of the Mach 5 of the Thunderbolts. So this left this open, and she's actually the daughter of Tombstone, which is the classic Spider-Man gangster villain. And she becomes a lawyer, but she's so involved with wanting to become a supervillain. There's a story in here that tells her how she became a supervillain. Next is the Shocker, who has gauntlets that they're vibrating. If you saw the Spider-Man Homecoming, he was one of the secondary villains in there. Okay. Right here on the left, on the far right, is Speed Demon. He's a speedster who's been around the Marvel Universe for like at least 20-some years, and he's pretty funny. But the story revolves more along the rounds of Boomerang, of assassin who basically he's good with boomerangs. But anyway, they call themselves the Sinister Six, even though there's 5 of them. So it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm reading this, and there's like the stories is like instead of being like this is a story about the villains, instead of taking the classic villain roles like I'm gonna rob buses and I'm gonna rob people all the time, there's like, okay, most of these guys, they're out drinking, they're out at bars socializing and stuff like that. So it shows you a different side. Boomerang was trying to score with this one girl and end up getting his ass kicked. Getting his ass kicked. And he has to concoct some weird way to get himself out of this jam. and that was even funnier too. There was also a story about a character named Hercules ruining every one of their days. So I mean, it's like I said, it's pretty funny. I'm I, I'm gonna try to find the first one because the second one is pretty funny. I'm gonna try the first one because this is issue 7 through 11. So I'm looking for the first one, which is 1 through 6. And I'll say, personally, I'll say, what, for good. I mean, I picked this up today. I picked this up the other day to try to read, and I started it earlier today because I was doing some errands. I was helping somebody with their helping the family member with their errands, and that's driving a lot of places, sitting outside. So of course, I had a nice little book to read. And I pretty much just right before I started filming this, I finished it on and off for a couple hours. But anyway, this is a very good book. I thoroughly recommend it if you want to try to buy if you like Spider-Man and his villains. This is a good book to read. It's like $17. This is like $17, and it has like 5 issues. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5 issues. Yep. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to try to read The Mutant Massacre again. I'm going to try to read this starting tomorrow. Now, this is over 300 pages, so I have a whole week to do it. Plus, Wednesday, my mother had to take my mother to her appointment, which is going to take some couple hours, so I have something to read. So hopefully by Friday or Saturday, I'll be done with this, and I can give you a good brief synopsis of The Mutant Massacre, if you haven't read it already, or like me, who hasn't read this in about 30 years. This is the 80s storyline. Was it late 80s, early 90s? Something like that. So if you haven't read this in 30 years like I haven't, this would be a very fun thing to get back into. With that, I'm going to go and do some relaxing. Talk to you later.